This video is to go along with your form and function project where you're working on the principle of balance. When we work with balance in three-dimensional works, we not only have the visual balance, symmetrical, asymmetrical, radial, or crystallographic balance, but we also have to deal with physical balance. And when we talk about form and function, we often want things to look aesthetically pleasing, but sometimes they still have to serve a purpose. So you're also balancing those two factors here, because sometimes we sacrifice form, what it looks like, for what it's supposed to do, or sometimes the inverse is true. We make something look nice, but it doesn't really work, so you have to get that balance as well. We're using popsicle sticks. They're also known as craft sticks. You have a limited supply of 120 sticks. You can join them together with hot glue. Some other tools that you have in your kit that will be useful are pliers, your utility knife. Not in your kit, you're going to need a ruler. Hopefully you might have some sandpaper still left over. In your kit you also do have a hot glue gun, and on occasion you may need your safety glasses, which you should have already but was not in your kit. Just to give you the general idea, let me scroll up. Here is a form that's been sitting in the studio for a little while, so we're going to use this as a quick example. Not perfect, but a good roughing of what you are expected to come up with. A structure in which a 1 gallon bag of water, by the way, the bag that your popsicle sticks came in is a 1 gallon bag, so you don't need to supply an additional bag. That sits at least 12 inches above the surface of a table. That will then hold a 1 gallon bag of water on top for a period of a minimum of 10 seconds. You're submitting a still image, so don't worry about sending me a video recording. Just take a still image of your form holding the bag of water. Now you notice when I place the bag down on the structure, we don't have any of those 5 forces being visibly shown. Bend, shear, torque, twist, and all those other forces that we looked at in our PowerPoint presentation. So our structure is strong architecturally. I don't think it would pass a car over it, but it definitely holds a 1 gallon bag of water. So we've defeated those 5 gravitational forces acting upon the material. So we solved the function. Now for form, you can see it bends and it twists a little bit, so be more attentive with how you use your sticks and how you place them. Make sure that when you're going up in your tower of at least 3 layers, if you count 1, 2, 3, you're pretty much guaranteed to get to 12 inches. That they are how you want them to be. These first 2 layers kind of lean this way, and then to counteract that, not on purpose, but because they had to, on the top layer you can see it starts to come back over in this direction. So things to watch out for there in your construction. You notice a lot of these are, you don't really see a lot of the hot glue in many places, but some places you do see a bunch. You are graded on craftsmanship, so please try and avoid big globs of hot glue. You notice in this example here, your joints or your connectors are just the raw sticks. They didn't do any cutting, they didn't do any manipulating. They're just kind of free working in how the pieces come together. So they're sitting like this, okay? But if you're looking at that, you have a very small contact point, so it's not super strong. So one thing that you can do to increase strength, and not only increase strength, but to increase the aesthetics of it, if you were to cut the bottom off, you could have a much stronger joint, and plus it looks cleaner. Depends on what look you're going for. Now you can say, I don't have a saw in my toolkit, and that's true, but that's why we have our safety glasses. One quick trick that you can do, you do have a knife, you do have pliers, so if you score, you're not cutting all the way through, you're only scoring the end of one of the popsicle sticks on both sides, both of your flat sides. That's now scored. I'm not sure if that's going to come up, but you're just cutting through the bare surface. If you grab with your pliers and you bend, it comes cleanly off. If you do have any burrs or anything, that's why you had your sandpaper. A few quick passes, and there you have a smooth, flat edge. So it doesn't take much effort, but it will increase the strength. It will also increase the visual quality of your lines. Now let's say you're addressing some of the edges that poke out that's not on a joint. Maybe you want to just have them come to a point. You can take your knife, working away from yourself and working with safety glasses on. Carve a little bit, okay? You're just adjusting the material to what you might want it to look like. These are options. But like I said, everything is joined with hot glue. So I'm going to take that flat edge and put it here. I'm just going to run a little dab of glue. I don't want to see a whole lot. So just barely squeeze and then wipe it off with the nozzle tip. Let it sit for a few seconds. And you should be able to let go. So this is a pretty quick method of building and constructing. Do take your time on design because you do have a limited supply of popsicle sticks. You don't have any more, but you still have to achieve the 12 inches in height on your form. One last bit of safety. You are using high melt hot glue guns, so the temperature does get high enough to where you could get blistered if you get it on you. So please watch your guiding hand that's holding the material when you are applying the hot glue. So please be careful with that. You can get blisters, so be mindful of where your hands are. When you're using a knife, cut away from yourself. When you are cutting, make sure you're wearing safety glasses. And think of this as a little bit of fun visual play again with line, but the sole purpose is to look for balance. Visual balance, physical balance, form and function balance. And don't be worried too much about the bag of water. It's only about 5.5 pounds, and these structures could possibly hold maybe 20-30 pounds without too much intervention of trying to get very architectural in your designs. But please do work on your designs first.